This
It is high
conference
noon.
will now be recorded.
It is high noon. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us for our monthly Renville County HRA EDA Lunch and Learn. Every month, a different topic and a different speaker, and we love to hear your feedback on different topics that you would like to hear. Some months it's taxes, some months it is marketing, some months it's social media. This month, it is the Minnesota Small Business Development Center and all the wonderful things that they can do to assist. And here in Renville County, we are a satellite office of the Southwestern Minnesota Regional Department, or regional office, which is out of Southwest Minnesota State University in Marshall. And we have, as I mentioned before, the queen of the SBDC, our deputy director for our region, Christine Fischer. And a little known fact, I guess some of you may know this, Christine Fischer is a Renville County native, I remember her saying. And
Yep.
she is a proud Hector Bulldog, was it? And then BLHS Mustang later when you graduated?
Exactly. That is exactly Bulldog and a Mustang both. So
Awesome.
yes.
Well, thank you so much for coming to chat with us about all the wonderful things that the SBDC can do for entrepreneurs wanting to start a business, existing businesses wanting to improve and grow. So thank you so much. We'll turn it over to you, Christine.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you very much. As Jordan stated, the SBDC, which stands for the Small Business Development Center, is housed out of SMSU in Marshall. And we cover, there's 9 different regions in the state of Minnesota with the SBDC. It's actually a national program in all 50 states. But like I stated, Minnesota has 9 different regions, and we cover Southwest Minnesota. So we're housed at a SMSU in Marshall, but as you can see on the map, there's 18 counties that we cover and represent. So I'm just going to give you a little bit of a rundown today, kind of what the SBDC does, the different groups that we help, and how we can maybe help and assist you. Along the way, I have a love of trivia, so on occasion, try to make it a little bit interactive here and stuff. I have a couple trivia questions throughout. So my first question is based on the 2020 census. What is the population of Renville County? So just a few options there. I don't know if we have a chat option or if Jordan's going to answer and guess for everybody, or Stephanie, if anybody has a thought or a guess on that one. So
this is Stephanie. I'm going to go with B.
And you are correct. So based on the 2020 census, Renville County had a population of 14,723. So just to, if you didn't know that, and like I said, Renville County holds a dear place in my heart, being that I was born and grew up there and still have family in the area. So 14,000 people in Renville County. So what does the SBDC do, and who do we provide services to? So the SBDC will actually help businesses get started, whether it's somebody looking to start up a business or purchase an existing business. We also help with business growth, mature businesses, as well as business exiting. So we will get into a little bit more detail with each of those as we go. So first, with starting up businesses, so there's many different pieces that go into starting up a business. So a lot of times, feasibility study, which is basically if somebody's trying to decide if it's worthwhile starting a business or not. So we will help and assist with those. A lot of times what we will do is utilize the marketing association here at the college to help us do a feasibility study and see if it's a business that seems to feasible, basically, even if it'll take off. We help with financing We do not provide financing, but we will help with the cash flow as well as the business plan that a lot of times banks and lending agencies like to see when somebody's looking at starting up a business. The Small Business Development Center has been around for over 35 years. So we have worked with pretty much every type of business that exists. Once in a very strange while, we will get something that's very unique, but for the most part, existing businesses. So we kind of have an idea what happens and what goes on in our 18-county region. We will help with the organization type. You know, if you're looking at being a sole proprietor, maybe a limited liability company, maybe a partnership, something along the lines of that, we will help with the information, kind of decide, you know, what would maybe be best for you from that perspective. Licenses and permits, if you're going into maybe a restaurant or something, need a license or anything that you need from that standpoint, maybe a handyman service, we can kind of help you with those, kind of direct you what permits and everything you need for that. Insurance, besides, you know, property insurance, liability insurance, we can kind of help you with that direction. Business taxes, we will assist with, everybody is aware, you know, property tax if you own the building. Everybody's aware of the income taxes. It's just a little bit different if you own your own business, what it takes to make sure that you have that handled, as well as if your business has sales tax, if you need to collect sales tax, as well as use tax. And use tax is one that's a little bit unique, not everybody is aware of, but one example we always say is if you have a store and you sell cleaning supplies and you go to take something off your shelf and clean your own store, taxes have not been paid on that product, therefore use tax, you're using the product, you should be paying the taxes on that. So we kind of help with that as well. And then employee requirements. So if you're hiring employees, you know, do you have a employee manual for them? What kind of offerings for benefits are you going to offer? What do you need to collect for workman's comp? What do you need to do for Social Security? Just kind of making sure you have everything in place if you're looking to hire an employee. So the next question, trivia question. So how many employer established businesses or establishments are there in Renville County? This would be as of 2019 based on the 2019 US Census Quick Facts. Any guess anybody has? And so an employer establishment would be a business that has employees. Any thoughts or guesses? So I see Ms. Mackenzie guessed C, 398. The answer is actually D, 461. So there are 461 employer established businesses. So then we jump to the next question. How many non-employer establishments does Renville County have as of 2018? Again, this is from the 2019 US Census Quick Facts. So a non-employer establishment would be basically a business or an organization where it's a sole proprietor. There are no employees in Renville County. Any guesses with that one? And Tyler guessed D, and that is correct. So there's 1,049 non-employer establishments in Renville County. So you're aware of a lot of the businesses that exist up and down Main Street, but it just shows that there's a lot of businesses that maybe aren't up and down your main street or have a place of business. Maybe they're working on their homes or something like that, but are still conducting and having their own business. So there is 1,049 in Renville County. So the next piece after starting up a business is the business growth. And so what we will do is we will assist with working efficiency. So if you are maybe struggling a little bit, or you want somebody to look at your business and see your cost of goods, compare them to your sales, that is something that we can do. Take a look at your profit and loss statement, see if there's anything that we see that would maybe be, you'd be able to take efficiencies and improve or something. Maybe your employees, the number of employees or something you have from that standpoint. So that's something that we help with. Growth feasibility. So is it worthwhile adding on maybe a couple of hours or employees and stuff and doing that into a cash flow and numbers and looking at it from that perspective? A business plan is always a great thing, you know, when you're starting up a business, but it's good to keep a business plan updated as your business grows and ebbs and flows. You want to make sure that it's a breathing, living document, that you're keeping everything in there, as well as your marketing plan. So what are you thinking for marketing, advertising with new different social media aspects, TikTok, just different ways that people get their information nowadays. You want to make sure that you're reviewing that marketing plan and you're staying up to date and adjusting where it's needed. Organizational changes. Maybe you started out your business as a limited liability company, as an LLC, but now as you're starting to grow, you're thinking that maybe it would be better off to be an S Corp or a C Corp or something from that standpoint. We can kind of work through that with you, with your business, see if that's something that would maybe be worthwhile. Again, additional licenses, insurance, kind of talking over maybe the need for increased coverage. Maybe you have a partner and you need to talk about life insurance and covering that, so you're able to, the business is able to buy out the other partner, as well as employees. Is there anything, you know, if you need to add additional employees, is there anything more you need to do from that perspective? Another option or service that we provide is, it's called SilkTide. It is a website that we subscribe to, and what this will do is it helps with web accessibility. So to kind of run reporting on your website, find out and see if you have any issues that need fixing, making sure that all of your links are fixed, there's no spelling errors, checking and making sure that the speed and functionality for both mobile as well as desktop, just improving your overall search engine optimization, as well as data privacy. So that if you have a website and it's something that you just want to make sure that everything is working properly, or if you're enhanced as well as you can, that's something that you could sign up for services with us and we can help you with. So what it'll look like is it'll provide a score overall, your content, your SEO, and your user experience, and you get a report that kind of gives you a grade, kind of helps you go through and look at different aspects of it, just to make sure that your website is working the best that it can. So that's something, and then we do have a consultant that can kind of work with you on that process. Sometimes it does get a little in depth if you have a company that you're working with. It's good information to maybe turn over to them, have them look at certain aspects and maybe, you know, improve or what on your website. So that is something with the search engine optimization, if you're looking for it. If also, besides your own, if there's maybe competitors that you want ran on and kind of compare what are they doing different or better than what you're doing, we can run and compare it on to their information as well. The next thing is mature businesses. So we will help if somebody's looking at maybe stepping a little bit out of management and shifting that over to employees, maybe taking more of a back seat and letting the business run and just being the owner of it and managing it. Also analyzing markets. We have a couple different services that we subscribe to that allows us to do market analysis, see kind of what's happening in the market that you're doing. We will help with review and comparison of financials. A lot of times, once a year gets done, a business maybe they're moving on to the next one, but sometimes it's good to do a comparison. What happened last year? What is happening with my business this year? What do I want to set for goals for next year? And we can kind of help you go through that, do some of the comparisons, and find out, okay, if your cost of goods went up, why is that? This year, obviously, everybody's, probably aware of the cost of good increases, but some of the things that we can kind of look at and compare, what are industry averages, percentage-wise and stuff, so we can kind of help and review some of that. So. And then we can also move to help businesses where they're looking to maybe moving from acquisition to maintenance. So initially, maybe your goal was paying off the loans that you originally got when you started up the business, but now you need to move over to, okay, what needs to be repaired? What do we need to be setting aside money for improvements for the future? So kind of moving from that startup stage into more the maintenance and moving forward from that standpoint. Another piece is the exit strategy. So just even in the mature stage is thinking about what are the steps that you need to do if you're looking to exit your business, or to have a succession plan. If something happens to you, what would happen to the business? If you win the lottery and you just want to step back from the business, do you have things in place from that perspective? And a lot of times you want to make sure you have that up front. We tell everyone, even when you're starting a business, to be thinking about the exit plan, even at the first stages. So kind of how will you get out of it when you want to do that? So making sure that's in place. Okay, so another trivia question. How often do Minnesota businesses need to update their filings with the Minnesota Secretary of State to remain active? Anyone know this answer? Or? So Jordan is correct, is every year. So that's something that a lot of companies, they go online, they file with the Minnesota Secretary of State, they get their assumed name or their limited liability company or their corporation, even their nonprofits, and they get that, and then they forget about it. So, but you do have to go online with the Minnesota Secretary of State office every year by the end of the year and renew that. So that's something that should be done. And if you haven't done that for a while, you might want to go and check your status might be inactive from that piece. It does not, as long as you're active, it does not cost anything. You just need to make sure you go on every year before the end of the year and renew that. So that's just something, a little tidbit that is kind of important to do. So the next thing is businessing exits. So like I said, this is something that we try to talk about even when you're starting to be thinking about what would it be like to exit your business, making sure that you have everything in place. If you have a partnership, what will be the agreement if one of you wants out of the partnership, what purchase price, kind of some of that piece. Identifying possible exit strategies you know, as well as the timeline around the implementation of that. A lot of times people decide, okay, they want to go ahead and they want to sell their business, but the numbers weren't really up to it. A lot of times maybe you're just looking at, you don't want to pay taxes, so you may be putting into the business something else that you didn't really need. The profit piece is a huge piece if you're looking to sell your business. So you want to make sure that you have it profitable, you're reflecting that on your taxes, because that is what the buyer is going to have to take in to get a loan. So they need to make sure that that business can sustain any loan that they would have to take for purchasing it. As well as, you know, the selling options, the different, maybe you have an employee you'd want to sell to, maybe there's a family member, competitor, something along the lines from that perspective of selling it. As well as maybe you're willing to do seller financing. So, and then as a last resort, if you need to absolutely shut the doors and stuff from that standpoint, what do you need to do? You need to make sure, you know, you're communicating to the different entities within the state of Minnesota. So they're not expecting you to file sales tax if you shut your business, and you just need to make sure you're communicating all of that. So we will help with all of that piece. So just a few highlights here from the Small Business Development Center. So over the last 5 years, we have helped 137 businesses start in our region. In Renville County, we have helped 11 businesses start. Loans approved, this is one of our measurements. So in the Southwest region, we have helped obtain $71.6 million of loans, whether that be for startup, expansions, maybe to get through COVID. And then for Renville County, it was $13.4 million that we've helped. And then clients, we've assisted 1,052 clients over the 5 years, with 84 clients coming from Renville County. So that's kind of over our 5-year time frame, what we do in our region. So, and then what are the consulting needs? The business plan is kind of the biggest thing that a lot of individuals or companies need assistance with. So about 30% of what we do is helping with the business plan, followed up with financing and capital. So needing the cash flow, the business plan, a lot of times the two of those go together to obtain capital to get the business started. Buy in existing business or selling the business is about 11%. One piece, we do have a newsletter that that goes out on the 15th of each month for businesses that are for sale for anybody that's in our 18 county region, as long as they have it listed on one of the 4 sites. We do not keep track of businesses for sale by owner or anything from that standpoint, but if they're on one of the sites, that we just kind of pull that, consolidate it, and send it out to on the 15th of each month. So we will help with marketing and sales, about 10%, cash flow management, another 10%. Disaster recovery, that's up a little bit due to COVID and the disaster. Startup about 5%, as well as tax planning and social media. So that's a little bit of a breakdown, kind of what we do and have over the past 5 years. So the SBDC does satisfaction surveys, and on average we receive about a 93% that our clients are satisfied with the services that we provide. So that's, we are proud of that. Next question is, how much does it cost for individuals and or businesses for the SBDC services? Anyone have this answer? And Mackenzie is correct. The answer is D. There is no cost to the business client or the individuals. We are federally, state, and locally funded, with the majority of our funding coming from the SBA. So we are a resource partner of the SBA. And so anytime you see courses and stuff like that, we highly recommend them. SCORE is another resource partner of the SBA. And I know recently Jordan has sent out presentations or classes that they're having from both SCORE and SBA. So we highly recommend, if there's something that you're looking for, definitely attend those or go for that. So. And next is if there's any questions that you have for me about the, all of the services, like I said, that we provide are at no cost. You are assigned a consultant and you work one-on-one. So they work with you on your specific business, the questions that you have. There's been businesses that we have worked with for 25 years. We maybe help them get started, then a couple expansions, then through the process they've sold it to their children. We've kind of helped with all of that through the process. So there's businesses we work with once, we help them get started, or maybe they're looking at getting out of business and done. And there's others that we've worked with for years and years and years. So any questions for me? So looks like I did not take up the whole time, so you maybe get time for lunch as well. So I do have my contact information here. So if you want to call any services, you can go to our website at sbdcassistance.com, and there is a red button on there that says request services. And so you just click on that link, sign up for services. It maybe takes about 10-15 minutes, and it's all contact information from that standpoint. And then it'll come into our system. And then what we will do is we will get a consultant that'll get assigned to you to work one-on-one.
Hey, Christine, Jordan, can I ask you a couple questions?
You most certainly may.
You know what? So rewind about 2 years ago, we had several meetings with you and your team online for businesses talking about the Paycheck Protection Program and some of the other programs out of the SBA. How is that going? I know there's been some businesses have had their loans forgiven, and the EIDL and PPP. What's kind of the latest on that? What should folks be knowing,
Okay. Yep.
Right now?
So as of right now, there's not anything really new coming out. If you do have an EIDL loan, they do have an opportunity to increase that loan while there are still funds available. But the opportunity to apply for new EIDL loans is not existent. But if you do have one, you can get additional funds for that. As well, the PPP, with getting the forgiveness on that, if you have any questions or anything, we can help get all of that pieces together as well. But that's kind of what's going on right now. There isn't really anything futuristic that we're aware of, but that always changes. So as we learn more, we communicate that. Jordan is really good at communicating that as well. But as of right now, there isn't anything that we're aware of that's in the works at this point in time. But that always changes.
Awesome, thank you.
Yep.
Other questions from anyone for Christine? Fire away. Well, while folks put on their thinking cap, I have another question for you, Christine. Sorry, I don't mean to dominate here and ask all the questions. What are you seeing for business conditions across your, what do you have, probably, what, 14 counties, a pretty wide swath of southwestern Minnesota?
So we have 18 counties, and a little bit of everything. I will say that it is very strong. We're seeing a lot of people looking at starting up businesses after COVID. Either they're looking at a supplemental business or decided that they're just ready to be their own boss after that. So we are seeing a lot of individuals looking at starting up businesses. We see a lot of businesses, some where unfortunately somebody has passed away from COVID, had a business. That business is now, up for sale. So we have individuals looking at that. We have a lot of people that are looking at leaving their business, retiring, and so that's a piece that we figure will continue to come. The exiting of the business is huge. The other piece that a lot of businesses, which I'm sure you guys are all experiencing, is a labor shortage. And so what we've learned is that besides a lot of individuals retiring, there's a lot of people that had maybe a second job that decided after the pandemic that they're just not going to work their regular 9-to-5 job as well as a secondary job. And so that the labor shortage is definitely something that we're seeing and hearing a lot about, where businesses are just struggling to get people recruited, employees from that standpoint, as well as the extreme costs, with the fuel and the cost of goods and inflation, everything. We are seeing some businesses that are kind of struggling on how to make things work with all of the increased prices. So we're seeing a little bit of everything from that standpoint, but we are extremely busy. Do have a lot of signups that have been coming here within the last 2 months of businesses that we're looking at helping.
Awesome, thank you. Questions from anyone else? Sorry, I don't mean to dominate, so please speak up.
I had a quick one. If someone is going to apply for like a cottage food license, if they have questions about any of that, do you guys help with that too, or is that kind of like totally separate?
Nope, we can definitely help you with that as well. So I know the University of Minnesota Extension, the gal that did all of that training, had retired like last week, but we can definitely help gather information and help through that process and make sure that you have everything that you need in the need to like make sure the books and everything you have for taxes and anything that you would have from getting started. We definitely can help with that.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Other questions for Christine?
I have a question. It's Tina. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. I just had a really quick question. Somebody had mentioned that I should, with my LLC, do where the business is renting from the LLC to help with taxes, but I don't really know anything about that. So do you think that somebody can help with that? Is answering questions on that?
Yes, we would have a consultant. So you personally own like the building and
The
then
building.
Okay.
Yep. And I have it all tied to my LLC.
So, yep, we have a consultant that definitely has worked with that multiple times. And so they can kind of work through and kind of walk through that with you. Where if you have a building and then your business is renting it from yourself, yes, we
Okay.
can help with that.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Yep.
Other questions? Going once. Going twice. Third time's a charm? All right. Well, thank you, Christine, so much. And if folks have any questions, want to talk to an SBDC consultant. I guess in today's world, a lot of this is done online and over the phone, as well as face to face. But and you've got an extensive network. Got two great counselors that do the lion's share of the work in Renville County, Bernie Berger, as well as Ruth Ann Cardy, and then Christine and her team, more based out of the central office there in Marshall. Yeah, whatever the specialty is, they'll get you connected to the proper folks. And again, their contact info's on there. Thank you, Christine. Always a pleasure to have you. Appreciate what you do so much and everything for Renville County. So again, we do this on a monthly basis, every month, a different topic, always on the second Wednesday of the month over the noon hour online. So stay watching. We'll be announcing our next month here coming up very shortly. Have a great day. Let's keep our fingers crossed that we don't get the snow that the Dakotas have. And hopefully we'll be in the field soon. And thanks again, everybody. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Christine.
Yep, thank you.
Bye-bye.